from WTVO 17 and your home team. Eyewitness News at 5 starts now.
Winnebago County Sheriff's Office gives an update on the condition of the deputy hurt from last night's shooting on Bellwort Drive.
It especially makes it more important this year to do anything we're able to do.
A local mom keeps her son's memory alive by brightening other moms' days. And as Congress returns to Washington this week, their focus could turn to passing President Biden's infrastructure plan and dealing with the situation at the border. Good evening, I'm Alexis Carpello. Winnebago County Sheriff's Office provided an update on the condition of the deputy hurt in last night's shooting. Police tell us the deputy was treated and now released from the hospital. The suspect died from their injuries. They say a further update of what led to the shooting on Bellwort Drive will be given on Monday from the Winnebago-Boone County Integrity Task Force. The task force is the lead agency investigating the incident. Freeport police are searching for a man in reference to a string of sexual assaults. Police say the female victims are 23, 25, and 31 years old. Their three separate attacks happened in an 8-hour time period. The first Saturday night around 8:20, and the latest attack took place around 3:15 this morning. The first victim called police from the mobile gas station on West Avenue in Freeport. That's where police say the suspect left the victim and stole her car. The attacks took place at 3 different locations. Beach Street and Gilmore Avenue was the first. West Staver Street was the second attack. Police say the suspect broke into a residence, stole the victim's cell phone, and drove away in the stolen vehicle during the second attack. The last attack took place on Van Buren Avenue. Authorities say Lil Robert Adams is the alleged attacker. After investigation, police say all 3 victims know him. Investigators ask anyone with information to call police or Crime Stoppers. 2 teenagers are now dead after a single car crash in Lee County. It happened around 4:15 Saturday evening. The Lee County Sheriff's Office was called to Robbins Road south of Amboy Road. The driver, 19-year-old Draven Webb, and 3 teens were in the car. Police say a 14-year-old boy and girl died on scene. Webb and the other 14-year-old girl were rushed to a local hospital. No word on their condition yet. The cause of the crash is still under investigation. The number of cases are down, but the positivity rate is up from yesterday in Illinois regarding COVID-19. Over 2,900 new cases of COVID are reported today, including 16 more people dying from the virus. That includes a male from DeKalb County. He was in his 80s. More than 1,800 residents are hospitalized statewide. The positivity rate now sits just under 5%. Region 1's rate is up to 6.2%. All counties in the region are up, besides Stevenson and Winnebago counties. The lowest rate is still Lee County, sitting under 2%. The highest in the region is Whiteside County at 9%. These rates come as hospital reports 9 days of COVID-19 patient increases. Yesterday, over 131,000 residents were vaccinated statewide. The weekly rolling average of vaccines administered is 126,000. Starting Monday, anyone in Illinois over the age of 16 who wants a COVID vaccine can get one. So that means there are more mass vaccination pop-ups happening in our area. The Winnebago County Health Department is still sending people to the clinic at the old Kmart on Sandy Hollow. A local artist dreams of one day having a studio to feature his work. Morning News anchor Whitney Martin caught up with the artist to check out his charcoal drawings. Right now, he's working out of his home, but not where you would expect.
In this room, doesn't matter rain or shine, I still can get the job done. How can you get all of them?
Coming up tonight at 9 and 10 on Eyewitness News, hear the full story of how these pieces of artwork are created. A local mom wants to keep her son's memory alive. She does that by brightening up others' days with flowers. Michelle Rave caught up with her, who says the idea came from a project her son did when he was in 8th grade.
There's tears and there's smiles and there's hugs and all this stuff. So it's really been a wonderful thing for us to do as Brodys' legacy.
The founder of Brodys Flowers, Meg Emanuel, says it's a cause that helps keep her son's memory alive. Brody passed away when he was 19 years old from a motorcycle accident.
He was able to be an organ donor. He's always given his whole life, so it just made sense. So we saved 6 lives, gave sight to 2, and improved the lives of over 75 people with tissue donation, including his sister. I think it was a couple years later, and I just was like, we need to do something to just kind of give back to his legacy and carry on all that he kind of stood for.
The inspiration behind the cause comes from a project Brody did in 8th grade. He sold flowers, then gave them to women in local nursing homes on Mother's Day.
Brody was awesome. Just a big-hearted kid with like an old soul, and he was friends with everybody he met. The looks on the faces of these mothers is just pure, gratitude and happiness, and they just, they love that interaction as kind of part of this as well.
Emmanuel says she hopes she's able to carry on Brody's legacy and give back to the community like he did.
We would love any help that anybody can give. If you want to reach out, and I know a lot of businesses do matching donations, and people can do that as well. And reach out if you have a specific nursing home that you think would benefit. We're all for that. So,
reporting in Rockford for your home team, I'm Michelle Rave.
From the situation at the border to Biden's infrastructure plan, those could be what Congress focuses on as they return to Washington. Hear from some lawmakers next.
And temperatures for us this afternoon struggled to make it much above the upper 50s thanks to a little bit of cloud cover. That cooler trend sticks around this week. Let you know how cool we could get and when we'll see a return of the sunshine. That's all coming up in your most trusted forecast a little later.
You're watching Eyewitness News, your home team, with Alexis, Carpello, David Greenberg, and Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Congress is returning to Washington after a 2-week recess. Democrats and Biden administration officials say their top priority is passing an infrastructure package. But Alexandra Limon reports lawmakers will also have to deal with the crisis at the U.S.-Mexico border. She's keeping you connected to the nation's capital.
Good evening, and this week Democrats would like to keep the focus on President Biden's newly unveiled infrastructure package.
Well, the American people already know that our infrastructure needs a lot of work.
Transportation Secretary Pete Buttigieg says the public, including Republicans, support the plan, which he says will create millions of jobs by rebuilding highways, bridges, and mass transit. And Speaker Nancy Pelosi says workforce development, childcare, and affordable housing are all critical parts of the package, too.
So it's physical infrastructure, it's also human infrastructure.
President Biden has invited Democrats and Republicans to the White House Monday to ask them to support his $2 trillion infrastructure plan.
This is a massive social welfare spending program combined with a massive tax increase.
Among those invited, Senator Roger Wicker of Mississippi.
We're willing to negotiate a much smaller package.
The sort of big, bold, utopian, European-style socialism proposal that they've laid out there is something they can try and do another time.
Republicans like South Dakota Senator John Thune say the infrastructure package is too expensive, and they want to shift the focus to the situation at the border.
I think, restore funding to build a wall.
The president says he's willing to make some changes to the plan to get Republicans on board, but he's threatening to push the bill through with only Democratic support if that's what it takes. Reporting in Washington, Alexandra Limon.
Now, your first warned weather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Candice King.
Well, we haven't had as much rain today as what we did yesterday, and you may have been lucky enough to see a little bit of the sunshine kind of poke through some of the cloud cover here this afternoon. But as we're still on the tail end of that low, we've had a couple of scattered showers kind of dotting the skies. They've been light and nothing quite as heavy as what we had yesterday. Actually had kind of a band of rain extending in a north-south fashion up across Greene and Rock County, right down here just west of Rockford. Still a couple of sprinkles there near Lindenwood, north of Rochelle, and then once you get into southern DeKalb County. We'll hang on to a couple of sprinkles here and a few light showers through about sunset. And after that, it's a mostly cloudy sky that'll take us through the rest of the night. But all of this associated with that low that brought us some pretty heavy rainfall, and those rain totals, 1/4 of an inch, or I should say 3/4 of an inch, up to an inch plus rain in some spots. As a result of the cloud cover and the rain, rain, our temperatures today and over the weekend have stayed in the 50s, although our official high today is 61, just a little before 6 o'clock this morning. You've got some of the broken cloud cover here. A live look with our Mercial SkyTrack camera out of the Poplar Grove Airport. Again, we'll keep with that mostly cloudy sky as we go through this evening. 56 in Rockford, 57 in Freeport, Janesville, 53 right now in Freeport. We're at 57 for our weather watcher Ben in South Beloit. A little muggy feeling too with that dew point number in the mid and upper 40s. 46 degrees our dew point temperature. Big difference though from just a week ago when temperatures last weekend were in the 70s and early last week upper 70s, low 80s. Notice we stay on the cooler side of things. We'll be in the 60s tomorrow, upper 50s, low 60s, but then we start to take a little bit of a hit in those numbers Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, where high temperatures will stay in the low to mid 50s. A little bit of a rebound as we head into next weekend. Reason being, well, that low pressure system that came through yesterday and is with us today actually going to kind of elongate itself a little bit and sit over Minnesota and Wisconsin. So as it does that, it's going to help kind of pull in a little bit of cooler air over the course of the next couple of days. With that cooler air, we're really not going to see much of an opportunity for rainfall. So while we've got a couple of showers in the forecast over the next 7 days, things are going to stay fairly dry. The potential will be there for some frost, however, and we could see that come Tuesday night, but our winds might be up just enough to kind of keep that threat fairly low Tuesday night into Wednesday. On average, our last spring freeze, that 32-degree temperature, usually within the last week of April. Hard freeze, 28 degrees, usually comes right around this time. So after, the second or third week in April, the chance of getting down those temperatures in the 20s becomes less and less. But any seasoned gardener knows any hardy plants you can maybe get in the garden, but usually you want to wait till end of April or even Mother's Day weekend to really start planting things. It is going to be cooler, and we've got the cloud cover around. Notice you keep a couple of those showers kind of focused a little more to the north. Now with that low to the north, I'm not going to completely rule out a sprinkle there across southern Wisconsin during the first half of the day, but we should see things calm down a bit and clear out as we head Monday afternoon and Monday evening. Cold front then comes in Tuesday, should come through dry, and that's where our temperatures dip down into those 50s. Alexis will stay in the 60s to start off next weekend.
All right, thanks, Candice. David Greenberg is in next with sports. The Cubs gotten off to a shaky start. Could they steady course, or would the Pirates get the best of them?
Now, the Napleton Sports Desk with David Greenberg.
It's been quite a rocky start for the Chicago Cubs to begin this season. They've struggled offensively, and at times their pitching has been questionable. Played a little baseball in my day, and I can tell you that is not a recipe for success. Things looked good in the second. Here's Javi at the dish. He puts a drive into one to straightaway center field. This one is crushed, and it gives the Cubs an early 1-0 lead. Trevor Williams facing his former team with runners on second and third. The pitcher, JT Brubaker, smokes one down the first base line. That'll drive in both. Pirates take the lead. And like I said, little offense and poor pitching will not get you wins. Pirates already up 5-1. Make it 7-1 as Wilmer Defoe goes deep to right. That would be our final from Pittsburgh as the Cubs lose this series on Sunday. The Sox were back in action after having their game postponed yesterday. Leury Garcia broke the scoreless tie in the fourth, doubling down the left field line. Nick Madrigal's chugging home from second. He'll score. That gives the Sox the 1-0 lead. In the eighth, man on first for Adam Eaton. He yanks one down the line in right. It stays fair, and that's a 2-run home run to give the Sox the 3-2 lead. Liam Hendricks comes in for the save next. This is why they signed him. But Carlos Santana had other plans. A solo shot in the top of the ninth ties it up at 3-3, and in extras, the Royals get one more as the Sox fall in 10 innings, 4-3. The Masters are still going on, so I can't show you highlights, unfortunately. This is what the leaderboard looks like right now. Just a few holes left to play, but things just got very interesting as Matsuyama just went into the water on 15. Make sure to tune back in tonight. I'll have all those highlights from this hopefully exciting finish. The Blackhawks picked up a much-needed win last night over the Columbus Blue Jackets. They gave a couple quick goals early on to trail 2-0, but they battled back nicely, evening it at 2-2 at the end of the first. Then in the second, they scored twice more and finished with the 4-3 win. Head coach Jeremy Colleton said this one might not have been their best performance, but a win is a win nonetheless.
It was not the way we wanted to get going, but I thought our guys found a way to crawl back into the game. But lots of positives for sure. Liked how we responded, the first two periods after going down, and lots to work on, no question.
Over at Sports Core 2, the Puri Cup soccer tournament wrapped up today. The tournament started on Friday, and it brings hundreds of youth teams of all ages to the Rockford area to compete against each other and showcase their talents for some college scouts from schools all over the country. For the U19 age group, the Elbrook United Elite Squad took home first place with 23 team points. And lastly, the Bulls are out in Minneapolis tonight, trying to bounce back after a loss to the Hawks, despite a 50-burger from Zach LaVine their last time out. Tip-off from this one set for 7 p.m. That's it for sports. We'll be right back.
First morning interactive radar brought to us by Rockford Auto Glass and More. We might see a couple of sprinkles or a very light shower, not for all of us here this evening, but kind of isolated and very scattered over the next hour or two. Otherwise, mostly cloudy skies will take us through the night tonight. Little haze too and some patchy fog developing underneath that mostly cloudy sky, down to about 44 degrees. 60, that's where we head for tomorrow. The day will start off with some cloud cover. We should see a little more clearing take place though late into the afternoon and evening. 38 Monday night. We've got several nights where those temperatures will fall back into the 30s. Afternoon highs stay a little below average in the 50s.
Well, thanks for making us your home team. We'll see you at 10.